Hey guys, I'm Chris Trott with Team TaylorMade, joined by Matt Bovee, Director of Product Creation for the iron category. Today we're going to talk about the top end of the golf bag, what you should look for. We've got a 5-wood here, a rescue club, and the P Series utility iron.
Yeah, Trottie, I'm really excited to talk about this area of the bag because it's got more options than any other, and it's an area that often gets overlooked. So let's get into what it could work for your setup.
All right, Bove, where would you start in this situation? You've been involved in all of these clubs, helped design them all. I like all of them, but where would you start recommending me to go?
I mean, I think the first thing you got to do is talk to the player or consider, the courses you play, what your shot types are, what's in your bag now. What do you want to see from carry distance and trajectory? Because each one's going to give you a different option, and you know that better than most.
So when we're out on tour and we're fitting these golf clubs, to Matt's point, it's always based on conditions and based on location. I think if we're starting here, as I've got it in my hand, I'm going to go with the 5-wood. One of the things we're going to be talking about is apex, and we're going to be talking about spin rates. They can impact the golf ball's flight significantly. So we'll use the same target for all of these golf shots, and we'll just lay a number down that will set us up. So I always find, Matt, when I'm out on tour, guys love this golf club because it gives them lots of different options. This is the first area we've seen social media content of Tiger talking about his 5-wood, the sole, hitting little stingers with it. For me as a player, I like it, but I find that I spin them quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what you're looking for out of a 5-wood. Of the options we talked about, it's going to give you the highest trajectory, the highest peak height, and the most spin. We've seen the trend in weak lofted fairways on tour for sure. There's a time and a place for those, and they're really easy to get off of the ground. So again, depends on what type of shots you need to hit for your course and what works for your bag. So when you're thinking 5-wood, what are you expecting to see?
For me, in the history of it, I've always seen a very stally flight, for want of a better word, and it spins. I'm going to show you how I go here. A miss hit for me sometimes can be toey, which also creates a little bit of curve, which I know as we get into it, you're not going to see as much with the iron. So that would be stereotypical for me. If I'm aiming down at that white post on the left there to get a little bit of draw, but turf interaction is great. It's a powerful hit. It's given me 3,000 spin, which for a 5-wood isn't much. Yeah. But I did tell you that the draw miss, the toe hit, so if we look at the golf club, the toe side would be this side, the heel side would be this side, comes out with a little less spin. That's what I worry about. I mean, that's not normalized. It's gone a fairly decent distance. If we throw normalize on, you can see it's around the 230 mark. I'm sure I can jump on it and get a bit more out of it.
Yeah.
But that's my worry with this, like big differences in spin for me as a player.
Sure, that makes sense. And everybody's different. So again, you got to think about what works for you. Let's hit another shot or two, see if that trajectory and spin rate stays consistent.
So that's a nice height. I know we talked a little bit about height. That's excellent. I like that a lot.
Seemed a little crisper. You see that spin rate jump up to 3,700 or so, 238 carry, so a little bit of a pickup there. And speaking of carry, one thing that you got to think about for your bag is what number you're trying to hit. Like, depends on your setup. You got a driver, obviously. Do you play 3-wood? Do you play mini driver? And then what's the rest of your irons look like, and what type of gapping are you trying to hit?
So I think that I'm a good test candidate for this, and I don't want to make this about my setup, but I tend to play a weaker lofted fairway wood, which is why as we get into stuff, I'm looking for a 3-iron or a driving iron or a hybrid that goes and fills that gap, because sometimes there's just too much between weak lofted fairway wood and then my longest iron.
For sure.
I mean, look, this feels great. I'm very happy with those 2 shots. I don't know if I can hit this much better than that. So
okay.
Let's roll into something different.
Yeah, let's work down the line. Let's step into the rescue. So when we talk rescue, obviously smaller footprint. This is going to kind of live between the fairway wood and iron world. And this is going to give you probably a little bit lower trajectory and maybe similar spin rate, maybe a little less. What are you expecting?
So first off, yeah, I mean, we can take there, I think it was 80 on the apex and it was 240-ish carry. Brilliant. easy to hit. Now I look down at this and it's quite a bit smaller and it's a little bit shorter. So I think I'm gonna get a hair more spin out of it potentially. You might be better guided to that. I think I could work this a little bit more. It's not gonna go as far.
No.
Is where my head's at.
Yep.
So again, Matt, a little toey, but that's my miss.
Right, so you're seeing that left side of the course come into play with your miss.
Yeah, which I don't feel like I would see with an iron, but let's keep it on this and let's just hit another flight out there. Much shorter, apex similar though. I can definitely get more yardage out of this. Spin rate dropped about 1,000. Much better hit there.
Yeah, that's a good strike.
That'll be a good one to judge off for sure. I think it looks more spinny. It flew a hair further. Yes, 220 and 3.7 spin. Similar launch to the 5-wood. I feel as a player, and this is me calling it, I think the 5-wood gives me a bit more options. One place I do love this is when you put it in a poor lie though.
Sure.
Why would that be?
I mean, rescues are set up to be extremely versatile. That's a lot, with that V-steel sole and things of that nature, like there's a lot happening in there to help players. And while you're a better player, obviously, so it sounds like a rescue may not be what you're looking for, that's gonna have an extremely low center of gravity and a high level of forgiveness, which means it's gonna be easy to get the ball in the air and make it really stable. So if you're somebody that's looking to launch it more consistently, or you want some playability like out of the rough and just get it up and out, a rescue's a great option. And that versatility you're talking about, we could see here as you're about to hit one out of a divot.
So I just move the ball back a little bit, just like an iron, and then just hopefully get a bit steeper on it so swing comes down a little bit more on this one, and it should drive through.
That's pretty good out of a divot.
It's excellent. So has its opportunities. I mean, that's 212 carry out of the divot. It came out much lower, 3,000 spin.
If we're baselining off what's in your set, we always want to start with your gamer and see where you're at. And again, we got to talk about the number you're trying to hit. So we saw that 5-wood live around 240. We saw the rescue live around 220. And then this would be the next club in the set, right? This is one that, is this something that can fluctuate in and out, or is this a staple going to stay?
This has been in the bag for a long time. I went to this to get more height. It worked. I wanted the speed pocket for more yardage. I wanted the gapping that we touched on to be greater between 3 and 4 iron. Okay. You'll see in my set I've now migrated to the 4 iron as well. Such was how much I love this club. What I loved about it is that it's just straight. So if I am feeling the pressure a bit, then this is a good club for me to reach to, because it does just fly usually straight for me. One thing I will say, it's been coming out a little low, which is why right now that 5-wood was appealing, but I think it goes too far potentially.
Got it.
I mean, that's great there. That's as good as I can hit that golf club. I really like that. I like the turf interaction. I like how quick it goes. Gives me 221, which is similar to our rescue number.
At a similar spin rate as well, sitting at 3,700 or so.
But what I feel, because the CG isn't further back, I just have confidence that I'm not gonna, but I sacrifice the one out the divot.
Right, of course. And I mean, again, as players, it's about what fits your eye as well. So naturally, when you bring a wood into play, you have what's called gear effect. And we don't need to necessarily have the deep dive there, but a left miss can happen. It's less likely to happen with an iron because of, as you mentioned, the CG is just closer to the face. So you're getting a similar launch, you're getting a similar spin rate, you're hitting a similar number as the rescue. And if 220 is the number, now we got 2 options that just you can decide between in terms of look and the type of turf you're hitting off of and all the things.
All that is great, but I would love to get 230 out of this and just push it that bit further.
That's the ideal number you're looking for, is 230.
I think when you make up the top end of the golf bag, if I'm being greedy, the whole purpose as to why it's so great for me to be here with you is because I want to chase that.
Sure, so I feel confident we got a 230 option in here for you. We talked about the QI10 fairway and rescue. Obviously those are great wood products. There's more information out there about those for sure. And we're going to start to step into the irons portion of the options for the top end of the set. So of course we have the P series irons. You got P790, P770, which is your gamer. And those will give you a little bit of different launch characteristics. But new to the P Series lineup is the P Series UDI and P Series DHY. So obviously the UDI stands for Ultimate Driving Iron, the DHY stands for Driving Hybrid. Now when you look at these two, they're designed to give you a little bit different shot shape. Let's start with the P Series UDI. You look at the shaping on this, and it's driven directly from tour feedback. A little bit more of a compact blade length compared to utility irons that we've released in the past. Which is going to, again, it just fits the better player's eye. The face is a little bit taller. It's designed to give you a nice penetrating ball flight with enough spin to control it, which I think you're gonna find appealing being on the better player side of the spectrum. Now, as you get into the P Series DHY, this is gonna have a little bit wider sole, a little bit longer blade length. This is actually the most forgiving iron in TaylorMade's lineup, which is going to be appealing for a lot of people out there that want to see more of an iron shape and less of a rescue shape. Lower face profile, designed to launch the ball a little bit higher, more versatility with that wider sole, so another great option. And then you get into the P790 and P770, of course, 770 being your staple.
When you put these down, I think it's important that you go side by side, right? And that is when you can truly see what you're talking about in terms of profile, blade length, and also that mass behind the golf ball. What does the mass give the player?
So the wider sole helps give us some versatility, but it also allows you to see more of what's called the back bar in the playing position. A lot of players, like Scotty Scheffler, wants to see that back bar because they find it more confident inspiring. You see a little bit more club down there, it doesn't look so bladey, it just feels like there's a little bit of help. So again, it comes to a visual. Now, it also allows us to make the club a little bit more stable. That's where you get into that P Series UDI having more stability than say a P790, but the launch windows are going to be different. So a lot of choices for better players, and really it just comes down to what you want to see.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's give this PUDI a rip. I noticed that you've been very kind and you've got one here custom for me. Is that an option for guys out there that are looking to customize this? Can they change shaft, loft, lie?
Absolutely. Full suite of customization options are available for all TaylorMade products, whether it's irons, woods, putters, wedges, it's all there. But absolutely, you got to go get custom fit for these, and we support custom in every single way. So find the right shaft for you, find the right length for you, find the right lie angle for you, find the right loft for you. That's going to drive your spin and your carry distance, all the things. And again, because we believe in custom fitting so much, we're putting more fitting tools out into the marketplace. So when you go to your local retailer, they have custom fitting options for long irons, so you can go through these and find what's best for your bag.
So I'm no longer in a situation where I only test off the 7 or the 6 iron. Now I can actually try out a 3, 4 iron before I actually compare it to this.
Nailed it. You can figure out what your gapping scenario looks like and how you want to change it for either your everyday course, the course you play the most often, or if you got a golf trip coming up and let's say you're going to a link style course where you want to keep it down, maybe you want to bring a UDI along with you because you need that fairway finder and to keep it lower.
You've already seen here, I struggle sometimes with a miss left. If I'm swinging extremely efficiently, we don't see that, the 5 wood be of benefit. But hopefully with a bit of luck, as I hit this PUDI, we won't see that miss based on the way I'm swinging it. So depending on how you're playing at certain times of the year, different clubs could work for you. Okay, Bovee, you ready? 230, here we come.
That's beautiful.
There's a little toe miss, but it'll be interesting to see the yardage. I think that could be a hair short of where I want it. Yes, 212. There's more in the tank for sure. But even on the slight miss, you even called out, like the spin is great, 3,700. The apex is the same, even on the slight miss, which is awesome. Now, one thing, this is a hybrid shaft. Why would I not put my iron shaft in this?
Again, that's going to be player dependent, but I tend to skew towards a little bit lighter weight shaft in these. They're a little bit longer. So a lightweight shaft I find is a little easier to launch, a little easier to get the club head moving. I transition from a 120, 125 into like a 105 gram shaft, give or take. And there's just a lot of options in the graphite space for that, which are commonly used in a hybrid as well.
So as you build your top end of your bag, you take your 3 wood or your 4 wood or your 5 wood shaft at that, who knows, but whatever weight that is for you, and then this plays a little heavier, but not as heavy as your irons. That's what you're saying.
That's how I think of it.
Okay.
I mean, there's no reason you couldn't go 105 gram steel if you play like a 115, 120.
I like it.
Again, go get fit, and that's what they'll take you through.
I like it. Okay, that was hit good. That's higher.
Yep. Like that trajectory, actually.
Similar yard, maybe a bit further. There you go. Now we're getting closer to the numbers that I want to see. 225 with a decent hit and a little fade on it, and the apex is up by 5 on the height. Apex is important because it gives you the descent angle. You can hit this one lower, but on the same note, I can get some control out of the flight.
Absolutely. How are you liking that spin rate for what you feel like you need out of this club?
I always like a number on a club. I'm thinking of this as like my 3-iron. I always like that number on a 3-iron. I didn't like when I hit out the toe earlier and the spin dropped a little
on the
bit,
rescue
because for me, I can't control what that's going to do.
Right.
I've teed it up a bit. Should I see any differences here?
I mean, you're going to hit a little higher on the club face, so you're going to be able to control the launch conditions with how you bring that club in. I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see it launch a little higher, but your spin rate should drop too.
Okay, let's see if we can make that count. It's nice.
Fairway finder right there.
It's just nice. It's easy to hit.
So we saw the spin stay consistent, that higher impact locations driving a little bit more carry. You got 235, a little higher launch like we thought. So again, similar spin, higher launch. You're bouncing between 225 and 235. You call that you want 230. Feels like we're close.
Let me take a look at this thing. I noticed it's a little bit bigger looking at it from the back, so the mass, how's that going to impact me again? Hit me up on that one.
So you're holding the P series DHY or the PDHY. So what you're looking at there, you see a little bit more back bar because we want that sole wider and we want the center of gravity lower. Now you're also seeing a little bit longer blade length, and what that allows us to do from an engineering standpoint is we can make it more forgiving. So this is going to be more stable on your miss hits because again, it's more forgiving. This is going to actually be the most forgiving iron in the TaylorMade lineup of all of them, whether it's the QI, the P790, any of them. This is the most forgiving iron we offer.
Are you expecting to see both of these models in Tour Players golf bags?
I won't be surprised to see that happen actually, because I think the P Series UDI is going to be a little bit more popular, but Mr. Scotty Scheffler loves to see some of that back bar, and we're working on getting him into that PDHY type of club. So I think he will get both actually.
Okay, let's give it a go. Okay, that's nice. That felt quick off the blade. Felt very quick.
I mean, again, going back to what we're looking for here, that's 228 off the ground, 3,400 spin. So it's again, another option in the ballpark. Let's hit maybe one or two more here.
Let's do this now. Everyone just bear with me. This is my 4-iron. Because that alarmed me a little bit. That was quite good. Okay, let's see what that is. It's hit a little heavy, but it's going to be close. So that's 210, which would make sense because the others were 220, and this came off easy. And what did we have? 230 out of this on an easy one, or was it 220?
228, so
okay.
Call it 230. And I love what you said, like I wasn't expecting to be in this club. I mean, it's important, I think, for all players when you go in to get fit, you got to check the ego at the door. Let the numbers do the talking, and like just be open-minded. You might, it's okay to have a product that you're coming into that you think is your lead candidate, but be open to where the fitter takes you.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So the 5-wood has surprised me, and this has surprised me. Both clubs might be leaving here today with me, to be honest, both. I like how it feels off the blade. Forged, right?
Yeah, these are forged hollow body on both the P, UDI, and P DHY. So forged construction. Inside there you have tungsten weighting, speed foam. So
it feels soft.
You got a lot of speed, a lot of forgiveness. But again, with these now being inside the P series, we made some changes based on the utility irons we launched in the past to be more iron-like in the face profile. So again, it's going to look a little bit more traditional. We've added that forged component. It's got tungsten weighting inside again, so they're both extremely forgiving. Speed pockets allow you to have more flexibility, and again, off the ground, that's so important because it protects that ball speed when you do miss it low.
I thought it was going to be low on the spin, and it's not. It's good. It's really good. It's excellent. It's a tricky decision that's probably going to take me a little longer than this video to decide, but I like it.
You want a T1?
Yeah, sure. T height then, you just spoke about the speed pocket. where's the perfect height? I know that the profile difference is a little different in height, right? Where's the perfect tee height for these golf clubs? Do you go super low, a little bit of height? What do you like to see?
Yeah, I think that's really player preference and the shot you're trying to play. I think where you have it teed up is totally fine. You're going to get a little bit higher launch angle with that ball a little higher on the face. If you wanted to more of a penetrating flight, you tee it a little lower.
Okay, and I can still keep it down with this if needed?
Totally.
That's long, it's good. That was a little pulley, but it's going to go a long way.
See that spin rate drop off that pole?
Off the peg, right?
Yep, off the peg, a little higher on the face.
Large sole out of a poor lie?
Sure.
Easy.
I mean, that's one of the benefits of the PDHY is the versatility from that wider sole.
So there you go. That was a tough lie, and that's come out great, and you can see how it's gone through the turf. I'm amazed at how this PDHY has performed. I honestly thought at the start of this video I'd get straight into the PUDI. I think the 5-wood is well worth a look, and we can see all the different yardages. If you're fortunate to be in a situation where you can go and get fit for these golf clubs, I think it's an absolute must. The top of the bag is such a key area. It can set up so many things. They can be valuable at different golf courses, and they can give you different numbers and different shots into greens where they'll hold based on that spin rate. If you want to know more about these golf clubs, go to TaylorMadeGolf.com, where you can find more information about all of these products in today's video.